washroom, and then I'm coming back up there.
Okay. Alright, you ready to do it?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Robot.
Ouch, go.
Alright.
So what we're going to do today is, with DC announcing their slate of movies coming up for the foreseeable future up to 2020, we would like to tell them how to make these not suck.
Yep.
So far they've already messed up because they're leading with a Justice League prequel before a Man of Steel sequel.
Yep.
To establish the universe, they're establishing their cinematic universe on a movie that doesn't even have its own established universe. So with that, we're going to get to our talking points of how we would like them to make these movies to tie into each other so they can get on pace with Marvel and to actually make them watchable for everybody involved. And with the way we've planned this, to make a lot of money in one calendar year.
Yep. So basically, just the first point that he's brought up, it's to release all the movies the same year, with endings all leading into the Justice League movie.
The first movie you open up with is Wonder Woman. You released it in January. So you've got a cast, you hire your writers, they write a competent story. Now story is key here. Write it competently. Get a competent director. Very, very minimal executive interference. Like studio interference. Leave minimal.
Yeah.
So what you do, it wouldn't be an origin per se. It'll already have her established on Themyscira, or however you pronounce that weird spelled name.
Yeah.
And then it was like, alright. Like, but just keep it confined there. Show her training. Show her going around doing her everyday life. Like, minimal conflict. I have the Greek gods as like the main villains. But not really a villain that will carry over to your, like, they're just a source of conflict. Have the conflict resolved. I'm not writing this movie for you because I'm not getting the writing credit for it. So have it in with, okay, don't do post-credit. Stay away from post-credit scenes. You are not Marvel.
Right.
You do not need to branch to the post-credit. So you have that, and just have your ending shot be, okay.
Basically what the ending shot will be is whatever the threat of the Justice League film is going to be. So if it's Brainiac invading or
you can take after the Justice League animated series, just some hive alien invading, and they show it just swooping over in the distance, and be like, oh, that doesn't look good. And then have Queen, I can't even pronounce Hippo, Wonder Woman's mom's name? Well, Wonder Woman's mom, like Diana, you are our strongest fighter. You have to go stop that from reaching our shores. Send her off.
Now what would be the second? Will we be releasing the Man of Steel sequel?
Yes, I wanted to have it like their big three movies. So Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman. But you can bring in, like, you already have Flash and Arrow on TV. Use that. Have like Sinners.
That's one thing that we would be doing. We would actually be integrating Stephen Amell and Grant Gustin, Arrow and Flash respectively, into the cinematic universe, because there's no point of casting.
Yeah, when you already have established.
You already have established characters.
You have an established fan base there too.
Exactly. And even with that, you can have the same overhead shot.
No, and I was going to get into that too. When we do, because the third film in the series leading up to is Batman. So then you do your Man of Steel sequel. Establish Metropolis. Establish the characters that you did not establish in the first one. Like, you had tried to get me to care about characters who I just knew names for. I didn't know why I was supposed to care about them. So flesh out Perry White, flesh out the Daily Planet staff, flesh out the Clark Kent persona. Bring in, one of his villains. You can do Metallo. Have that him discover that the weakness to the Green Rock, which they didn't really explore in Man of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
Have that. Have him resolve it. At the end, same overhead shot. Fly off. And you do your Gotham movie, your Batman movie, whatever you want to call it. Set up. Do not put Bruce's origin in here.
Please don't. I think just like with Spider-Man, I think everybody knows how Bruce Wayne becomes Batman, and I think we're tired of seeing it.
So, oh my God.
But with the Batman movie, it's the same thing. Whatever story that you use, have it end with the same shot of the alien ship.
Yeah, so like Wonder Woman will be released in like January. Man of Steel, your summer movie.
Yeah, Man of Steel could be the summer movie.
The Batman film,
probably
your fall. Cause
I was gonna say probably Halloween, depending on what story they want to go with.
Yeah, have it be your Halloween movie. The Justice League movie is your Christmas movie.
Mm-hmm.
Now you do that this way because you have your Flash and your Green Arrow TV show. The winter finales are in December.
Mm-hmm.
In the winter finales with that same overhead establishing shot. It was like, now if you want to see how this ends on TV, you have to go to the movie theaters.
Yeah.
So you got people invested in these television shows. Like, I want to see what's going on there, because you have in their winter finales with their stories. Like, but you still leave that at a cliffhanger. Mm-hmm. But the reason they can't resolve that right away is because you have this.
Mm-hmm.
Now they come back in like, normally come back in like March of the following year?
Yeah, like February
or
March.
March. Show the aftermath of that, like them beat up and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But they can't really explain because whatever the story was going on for the series, they have to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have people who did not see the movie, I was like, no, I'm not going to watch this. Like have that change them,
mm-hmm.
The character a little bit. Now you're interested in seeing why there was this change,
right? So that's how we would basically tie.
Like, if you do everything within the same calendar year, monetarily you're there.
Mm-hmm.
Like you start payoff beginning of the year and the payoff at the end of the year. Like with Marvel, theirs is peppered out some years.
Mm-hmm.
You just changed the game with doing it all in 1 year.
Yep. And so the second thing that we would do is have Warner basically use their Warner Premiere.
Yeah, Warner Premiere, they do their animated movies. Like, turn Warner Premiere into your Marvel Entertainment Studios. Have Warner Premiere, like, everything that's comic book related, we're going to give to you. Because with Warner doing, like, Warner's not looking at it from that universe. They're looking at it from monetarily wise. Like, Marvel Studios is a subsidiary of Disney. Warner Premiere is a subsidiary of Warner, and they do your movies, your comic book movies. They still do your animated, and then they do your live action. Put somebody in charge of that who has really nothing to do with Warner,
mm-hmm.
like whose interests do not lie with Warner. It's like, okay, yeah, I can make your business better, and just have them oversee everything. They're your executive producer is the executive producer of Warner Premiere. They do nothing with Warner except Warner Premiere related activities.
Yep.
And so you don't always have this guy all the way up here was like, well, I've noticed that this made money for us in the past, so we're going to go with that. I was like,
mm-hmm.
What about the future? We can get money in the future. Because look at what happened with Green Lantern.
Good point. Yeah, we're just not going to talk about Green Lantern. Let's skirt over that. Anyway, that's what we would do. That was kind of like the second point, just have Warner Premiere take over the comic book related films. Now the third point is to hire competent writers.
Because Goyer is terrible.
And when we say competent, we mean competent. Don't hire them based on a name. Because, I mean, Goyer probably is one of the higher making, as far as like movies that he's written that have made money in theaters. He's probably one of the more successful screenwriters. It doesn't make him necessarily good at his job.
Michael Bay is a bankable director. He's a terrible director.
Yeah, he just brings in money. So hire competent writers. Hire people who are passionate about
the
properties. So just do that. Now, our fourth point will be add some lighthearted. Our fourth and fifth points kind of tie in with each other. Add some lightheartedness to the movies. They don't have to always be dark. And with our fifth point, Zack Snyder shouldn't be the architect of the overall universe, and Christopher Nolan's Batman shouldn't really set the tone or the standard for the movies. So throw some lightheartedness into it. It can still be dark, but it shouldn't be dark to the point where you're sitting in the movie like, no, this is pretty depressing.
Yeah, like say with Man of Steel, what Superman represented was not in Man of Steel. Like, he inspired people to be better. He destroyed good like 75% of the planet. And not to, like, I don't know how the recovery plan took place. Like,
we'll find out.
I guess so.
In Dawn of Justice.
But so much was destroyed.
Yeah.
And from what we can see from Dawn of Justice, Superman is not globally liked.
Yeah. And I think that's why. Because, he could have and should have made better decisions when it came to fighting Tide.
Like with Nolan's Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, those did not have any type of like emotion. Like, oh, I felt good about that movie. It was just all dire and dreadful.
Yeah.
And Dark Knight is a good movie, but just like for who Batman is, there's like you could at least add some type of color. Like the character of Batman, he was the Dark Knight. He was that movie. It was just business, no fun having, and then he got Robin, and it just injected a little bit of, okay, this is what my mission's for. Like this guy, like he sees the bright side in the world, got on his bright colors and whatnot, bringing a Robin in this universe. Not saying bringing Robin per se, bringing a Robin. Something's like, hey guy, how's it going? Hey, well, you need to cheer up, buddy.
Yeah.
Huh? Stop.
So they really need to ground it a little bit more with having that one person who was like, don't be dark and brooding all the time.
Like the episode of Arrow when Diggle, Sarah, and Ollie were comparing scars. And then Felicity was like, got a Ruka down.
Right.
Like,
simple stuff like that.
You need a Felicity smoke.
And so, yeah, that's essentially what those last two points kind of tie into each other. Now, one thing that I felt that ties back into the first point with having the movies have all the same endings, is that they really are rushing this Dawn of Justice film, because everything that we heard, essentially, because it is a Justice League prequel movie, that lets you know right there that they kind of just rushed to put a movie in production, and so that they don't really have faith to build their universe yet.
Because with the second Avengers movie about to come out, and the third announced for the near future, it was like, let's hurry up and get our Justice League movie out.
Yeah.
It's going to be a Justice League coming together movie.
Yeah.
Instead of the ingrained shared universe. We're just going to do all that planning, building, grand opening, all at the same time. And it was like, that's how chains fail.
So, with this being a Justice League prequel movie, and what's funny about it is that it got pushed back. Like the start date for filming got pushed back, and they pushed the actual release date back. It's supposed to come out next year. It's coming out in 2016 now. Even with the start of filming being pushed back, I still don't exactly get why they had to really push it back, because they're done filming now. So I don't really know why they couldn't have done it and released it in 2015.
They're waiting to see what Age of Ultron does.
That could be it, but I just think
Like,
that they
that's
were,
like not how much, like what they bring to what's already established.
Yeah.
So they can't have enough time to go back and film to, like, oh, we really like this from Age of Ultron. Let's do our own spin to it.
I can see that.
Just in case something goes wrong, they have enough time to.
Yeah.
At least that's how I see it.
Yeah. And so, they don't need to rush the film. I don't think so. They're trying to catch up, and they're doing, because it's going to be Dawn of Justice, and then it's going to be Suicide Squad.
What I do like that they're doing is even though it really doesn't make any sense for franchise wise, the hiring of the big names, they need something to set, like, some just get attention. Ben Affleck, a big name, hire him to play Batman. Franchise wise, makes no sense. But
That's another story for
you
another.
got people talking.
Yeah.
You have people talking like Ben Affleck is Batman. He was terrible at Daredevil. I don't agree that he should be Batman, but I like to see what type of Batman he plays.
Right.
So if people, they don't agree with it, you're going to get money from curiosity.
Yeah.
Will Smith is Deadshot. Makes no damn sense to me.
None at all.
Whatsoever. But I can see Will Smith is a household name.
Right. So they're doing their due diligence by getting like big name actors in these in some of these movies.
The names alone would bring people. Like, you got money
Exactly.
from names alone.
Yeah.
I mean, Will Smith, After Earth, what was that, his last movie?
Yeah.
That was terrible.
It did terrible. It actually did do terrible at the box office. That's because they actually critically panned it. So names don't always bring in money, but we get what they're trying to do.
Yes.
Because sometimes names bring in money. It just depends on the person. Like with Johnny Depp, Tom Cruise was like that at one point. With the movies that he was picking, with it was like, oh, it's a Tom Cruise movie, but then it wasn't really that good. But now he's starting to. I mean, I think he should say
roles.
Right. He's starting to pick better action movies for himself.
And that's where the competent writers and directors come in.
Exactly.
You have a big name.
Mm-hmm. Give them something good to work with.
Yes, because that will sour. Like, oh man, Will Smith keeps putting out crap shitty movies. He did After Earth, and then he did Suicide Squad. I'm not going to see. You're going to ruin any bankability he has for the future if trying to franchise his stuff.
Yeah. So,
have Ben Affleck direct the next Batman movie.
Yeah, that's what. Even if Ben Affleck hadn't been cast as Batman, I think he should be directing the next Batman movie anyway. And there's rumors, when he first got cast, there were rumors floating around saying that was part of his deal, that he would be writing and directing the next Batman movie. So, I mean, he brought on his Argo screenwriter to touch up either rewrite or touch up the Dawn of Justice script, which I think is a good move, because Goyer, I believe, wrote that script.
Goyer.
That, and I heard that was one of the reasons why I got pushed back, because they brought somebody in to touch up the script and rewrite it. So, I mean, you're bringing on. He wrote Argo. I haven't seen it yet, but I heard it's great. He won an Academy Award for writing and directing. So he has Oscars for this film. Why not bring in one of his writers on the movie? I mean, it makes sense. So give these big name actors good material to work with. Mm-hmm. It really shouldn't be rushed, but I mean, it's too late now. The movie comes out in 2 years, a year and a half.
Let us write your Green Lantern movie.
That is true.
Which
also should be coming out a little bit earlier. Honestly, I actually think the Green Lantern movie should come out before Suicide Squad. Green Lantern is set to come out in 2020, I believe. Suicide Squad comes out next year, the end of next year. I think those two movies should have switched places because people have really been wanting the Green Lantern reboot. And apparently within all these movies that they've announced, Suicide Squad, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, we're also getting a Man of Steel sequel and a Batman movie somewhere between 2016 and 2020. We just don't know when yet. So I think they could have actually done this a little bit differently. But that was the whole point of this video. So, you got anything else?
Let's see. Like, some of your smaller name characters, I understand, trying to take chances like Marvel is with some of their, like, but you guys don't have that luxury. Marvel doesn't own their most popular characters. So, what you could have done was your smaller characters aren't going to be that bankable because you have better options.
Right.
Like a Cyborg movie. Not really that interested in seeing a Cyborg movie.
Yeah, I don't know why he's getting one.
Like
I will definitely prefer a Martian Manhunter movie over a Cyborg movie.
Oh, yes.
So,
because Cyborg, I don't read New 52. DC has soured me reading their comics with New 52. Cyborg, to me, is always going to be a Titan. So he would work better. He works better in a team dynamic.
We might also do a video
about how the shared universe makes less sense than Marvel shared universe. Because there's just some questions that are going to be asked, like, and they're all questions that have been asked for Marvel shared universe, but it's going to shine a bigger light on your DC shared universe just because certain things are in place.
Yeah.
You have access to everything.
Right.
So
there shouldn't be a reason why some people are being left out when you actually have the rights to all of your characters.
Yes.
As far as like movie rights go. So yeah, so that's our idea of fixing DC's universe. Yeah.
Anybody who has any contacts within Warner Brothers should get this video to DC. Make it so. Number 2.
Green Lantern.
Alright, everybody, thanks. Oh yeah, if you feel like it, subscribe to something.
Yeah, you do all that fancy stuff.
Yeah, subscribe.
That's where you're gonna put it?
I guess, I don't know. I think I'm gonna put it in the opposite area.
Okay.
To just make me look like a fool.
Alright.
I'm leaving this party in too.
Cool.
Alright.